young lady, and she's the lead vocalist for the band DRAMASCREAM. Please welcome for the first time on Animal House Radio, Miss Lauren Eliza.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Lauren, thanks. I know you have a crazy week and you're doing a lot of stuff, and I appreciate you taking some time tonight. I tell you what, like I mentioned earlier, I was very impressed by the band, and your vocals are absolutely amazing. I got to ask you, where does it all come from? Oh my God.
I guess vocally, it all comes from my emotion, which it's good and bad. I started singing singing when I was younger, like in high school, and then I was always really skittish to do solos and like sing in chorus. Like I always wanted to just be in the background. But I'd go home and I would just start writing songs, and I was like, oh my God, I love singing. But I never considered myself like a singer because I loved rock and metal, right? So okay, I'm obviously not a singer. I like this type of music, and I'll never be as cool as all them. So I didn't really think I could do it. And then in college, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this. And so I kind of started doing it, and then I started to learn how to scream, and that was where I found like my passion was through screaming. The biggest thing for me was learning how to scream correctly. So it was a lot of trial and error at first because I wanted to be able to do it, but like when you look at people like I don't know, Howard Jones when he was in Killswitch Engage, and like Chester from Linkin Park.
Yeah.
I like the male screamers. Like that's who I really liked, and like Maria Brink, I really love her. But those were the ones that I was like, oh my God, I gotta learn how to do this. And so I started to just play around with it. And I had a friend who was in a metalcore band, and I was like, how do you do this? And he's like, actually, like it's not as loud as you think it is. And we kind of started getting into that, and I just played around with it, and I've started to hone it. I actually just started since COVID, since we're not playing out anymore. I actually just started taking voice lessons again, because my scream is one thing, but like your clean voice is everything, and I didn't want to lose the clean voice, so I practice all the time. I'll record myself and just play it back, and that is how I came to be, was recording and playing it back. And then I realized, after singing and screaming, I was in a cover band. I was doing that for like 3.5 hours. I started losing my voice. I'm like, I can't do this. So then I was like, I think I need to get some lessons to make sure I'm doing this the right way. So
yeah. I mean, that's got to be tough too, and I spent like 2 or 3 days out of the week going through the hundreds of submissions that I get for music, and I came across yours, like I said, and one of the cool things is that what you don't really see anymore is like a female fronted metal band, which I think is like so cool. I don't think they get the recognition that they deserve. But screaming and all that, how do you, like, when you have to do that, how do you preserve your voice like that? Doesn't it do any kind of damage?
No, there are so many female fronted metal bands out there. Like we're like the Diet Coke of female fronted metal bands. Like you look at bands like Ginger and like Arch Enemy, I guess they're more like I don't know, there's so many subgenres. Like people are like, well, that's not real. I'm like, okay, look, it's metal, it's whatever version of metal. I don't really care. I don't get hooked on that. Or like Spirit Box, they're amazing. They scream like the whole time. But for me, screaming, I don't scream the whole time for a song because like I think that it's an emotional thing. It's not more just like, oh, I'm screaming at you. It's more of like, I need this part just needs this screamer. I love melodic, but for me, screaming doesn't hurt. I wouldn't do it if it hurt. So like the best thing for preserving your voice is making sure you're hydrated. Like I give props to whoever can drink alcohol and sing. I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I don't scream from my, I don't know how to explain this. Like I don't scream from my throat. My screams are all up here. And I guess the scream, it's like a type of scream. It's like a fry scream. And it's the easiest scream. Like for me, it was an easy scream to learn. Some people say false chords, like that, like they're false chord. I don't know. I like to scream melodically. So I don't know. Like I just make sure that I'm hydrated. And if I feel like I'm pushing it one night, like if I can't hear myself, I back off. I mean, I've had nights where I pushed it too much, and
Right.
the next day I was a little like, ooh, but if the second I get like that, I stay silent, which is hard for me, but that's the that's the biggest thing I would say is like if you realize your voice is like cracking or you wake up and you have a sore throat, or I carry a lot of tension. My biggest thing, it's not actually singing, it's more like I carry a lot of tension and I actually carry it in my tongue. And so I'll get like knots in the back of my tongue if I don't scream right, and it like
Oh
hurts
wow.
the day. So you just have to make sure that that's all I can say is help people. Just make sure you're doing it correctly when you're screaming. That for me, because if you don't, you won't last. Like that's the reason I can last, for
Yeah.
however long we play, or when I was in DRAMASCREAM, which is all originals, but I was doing a cover band. Like I said, it was 3.5 hours, and you're going from Kill Switch to like something lighter, like 10 years, or
Right.
we do like maybe some Ozzy, but then you go back to Mudvayne, or you'd go to, and it was like, you're singing, it's like vocal Olympics, and you just have to make sure you're warmed up. Like that's.
Oh well, I didn't realize there was such a science to it. That's cool. Now,
Yeah.
yeah, Lauren, you said you've been singing since you were real young. So, what was your influences growing up that wanted you to start singing?
No one in my family.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my family. So my dad is super like go to college and whatever. So like I
Right.
did college, but I I danced. I danced all over the U.S. I was in competitive dance, and I loved performing. I just loved performing, and there was just one day where I started singing, and I just was watching these like I don't know, I was watching something. I don't know what video I watched or whatever, and I'm like, that's so amazing. Like I want to do this, but I love singing because singing got my emotion out, and that was
Right.
like I just felt like I wanted to be able to do for someone what music did for me. That was my thing. Like I've always wanted to be like, okay, like this song got me through so much. I want to be able to do that for other people, whether it's like one person. So if like I don't have to be world famous. Like I just put my music out there, and if it helped anyone, then that I did my job. Like I think I don't know, it's therapeutic. So that's what made me start doing it. Like I'm like I want to do that for people. Like I love singing. I want people to know they're not alone. Like that everybody has like a fucked up day, or
Yeah.
So that's what made me, like pretty much. I don't know. I guess I could say Lincoln. I know this is probably like a big like Lincoln Park, and Kill Switch are like the two that are really,
Oh wow. Okay. Now
the ones that I saw. I was like, this is badass.
no,
My parents like Pat Benatar. My dad liked Pat Benatar, so that's how I kind of heard like the melodic side of it. I was like, ooh, she's a badass. So I liked older music too, but
I grew up on Pat Benatar. I grew up in the '80s and the '70s, and I always loved hard rock and heavy metal. Now I know it's got to be tough, with this COVID for all. I mean, even me as a radio comedian, entertainer, it's got to be rough. How are you handling it being, because I know you strike, even though I don't know you, I just meeting you now, but you strike me as the type of person that just wants to get out there and perform. How do you handle all this downtime? Is it causing any creativity for you to write more music or?
okay, so this is gonna sound so bad, but when we write, I'm like one of those people, I procrastinate. Like that's my thing. Like I'm like, okay, I have this paper is due at midnight. I'm gonna start at 11 o'clock. Like, so when we write, the thing is the guys will write, and then I'm like, we're going to the studio tomorrow. Okay, pressure's on, and like I will write the song on the way to the studio.
Oh wow.
I just don't. I don't know. It's one of those things where I think I work. Sorry, I gotta fix my.
Okay.
I think I work better under the pressure. So right now I'm like, yeah, we gotta write a song. And it's like we're being forced to write it, because we have so much time to write now. And so the guys are working on stuff. It has helped us that way, and like we've done some live streams. For me, it's killing me mentally. It's mentally been more draining.
Yeah.
On me because I can't get out there and like it's the performing thing. Like that's why I sing. That's why I'm in a band. I love performing for people and just feeling that energy, as cliche as that might sound. I that energy, you can totally feel it. And just there's nothing that beats being on stage and just screaming and someone just like in your face, like fuck yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I don't
Right.
care if it's 200, 300, 100,000, 2 people. I don't care how many people. I just want to
You just want
go
to
and like
perform, yeah, and you like that interaction
watch
with the
and have a
audience, yeah. You
yeah.
know, it's
So
funny. I got to share a secret with you. You know, as a touring stand-up comedian, I always write material, but sometimes I'll go to a strange place and I want to try out new stuff, and I say to myself all week, I got to write some stuff, and then I wind up writing it on the way to the gig in the car, like on a notebook paper. So I'm
right.
guilty of that too, just like you. So don't feel
Sometimes
bad.
the pressure just if there's a song, especially if I can't get the like if I couldn't there was one actually Masochist, believe it or not, that song, we got in the studio and I'm like they're like, okay, so what do you got? I was like, absolutely nothing. So I had to just have it like just play it and I'll just like and he's like, oh, that sounded cool. Okay, do that. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So I just wrote it and I'm like, okay, this is what this song makes me think about. Oh, this makes me and I just kind of wrote the lyrics as I recorded it.
Oh wow.
And then a song like "PHRENIC," I heard the chorus and I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, this is a great song!" And then so I wrote that chorus and I wrote the chorus and the verses and it just came to me. Some songs just come to me right away. Some songs I'm like, yeah. And then I get to the studio and they're like, "So did you?" And no, I didn't finish it. And the band's like, "What the?" They're like, "You know, we have to sit here and play our parts." About I'm like, "Oh, you should have been the singer then, I guess."
Oh boy, that's too funny.
Yeah.
For those of us just joining us, we're speaking with Lauren Eliza. She is the lead vocalist for the tremendously talented band DRAMASCREAM from out of Curtain Call Records. And I'll tell you what, I'm so impressed with the whole label. And everybody there has been great. I met a great new band out of Arizona called Dawn of the Rising. They've become great friends of mine. They're a really talented band, and I was impressed with them. And I'm really liking the caliber of talent that's coming out of that label, and especially with DRAMASCREAM. Now, I could have swore I saw you were doing a video. It's probably during the summer that, I mean, you're in DRAMASCREAM, but you're trying to do stuff, different projects on your own, right? Or different music by solo.
Not. I mean, I put out a solo song with my friend. He's like a not folk. I don't know. I call it folk. I don't know what you call it, but I'm gonna call it folk. He does like folky alternative rock music, and I put a song out with him. And the only solo stuff at this point I plan on doing is maybe like some covers. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to do this. And so then like, you know, a week goes by and like, oh yeah, I got to get on this. And then another week goes by and I'm like, yeah, like I told you, I'm a procrastinator. So like a few weeks ago, I went to go record a cover. Actually, I think it was a Killswitch Engage song. And I went to record it and something happened with my new system that I bought, like the input. I am not very savvy with what you call these things. So I'm going to call it an input thing. The input thing that I stick my microphone into. And I went to sing, and it was like, and I'm like, all right. So I tried, and this isn't working. So I'm having a friend come over who does sound, and he's actually going to try to troubleshoot it for me so that I can do this all on my own, and I don't have to keep bugging, like, Steve or one of the guys. I'm like, hey, so who wants to do this for Lauren? Like, so I am going to be doing stuff. I don't know if I'm going to do a Patreon or whatever, because so many people have asked me for covers, and my issue is when I do a cover, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm like, either I have to like it, it's got to be good, or if it's remotely anything I don't like, I'm like, screw this. Now, it doesn't matter to me what anybody else thinks. So if I did a cover and I thought I did a good job, you know, not like, oh, I'm the best, but like I thought I did a good job, I like the way it represents me, I'm fine. And if someone's like, oh, that wasn't good, I'm like, well, I fucking really don't care. It's fine with me. Like, don't listen to it. Like, that's my motto. So I just have to really like it. And I've done songs where I'm like, oh, I said that word wrong. Like record. I'm the worst person in the world to record.
I'm like that too. You get very fanatical about it, and that's the way you should be, because that's your work.
Right.
If you have it, like, if maybe down the road, who are you thinking about doing a cover of? Anybody off the top of your head that you would like to do, or like a wish list?
This is going to sound really funny. Okay, this is just the first one that came in the top of my head because I heard it the other night, and I was like, oh, I would do a cover of this. I think it's what the heck is that band? I think it's a Def Leppard song.
Oh wow!
Wait, what the heck is it? It's
A newer one or one from the 80s?
I don't.
One of their
They're
cuts.
all. Wait, it's. Oh my god, this is gonna bother me because I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. It was not.
Was it
I don't
Photograph?
think no, it was like a slow, like it was like a ballad.
Okay.
Oh my god, I gotta look it up because yeah, clearly I'm really
Was
good
it
at
Too
this
Late
game.
for Love?
It might have been that. Wait,
Because
Defford
that's a more
songs.
ballady.
It was just like, it was not Love Bites, but it had that like, oh, and I'm like, oh, this is such. Maybe it was Too Late for Love. Oh no, it was Hysteria.
Oh, Hysteria. Okay, yeah, okay.
It was Hysteria, and I'm like, oh, I feel like you could do a cool like metal version of this or something. And then also something newer that I really wanted to do a cover of was I just suggested it the other day. Oh, I really like The Weeknd, Blinding Lights.
Oh yeah, that's the TikTok song I call it.
Oh,
Because that song's all over TikTok. Every video you see, it says that song in.
That and Savage. But I really like that song, and I feel like you could do some stuff with it.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting idea. I like that.
Other than like your typical like I love metal, so like things that are out of like people wouldn't think I'd want to do. Those are songs like obviously there's Killswitch. Obviously there's bands like that. There's somebody asked me like, a Motionless in White. There's actually a Motionless in White song that I heard the other day, and I'm like, oh, that'd be a cool song to do. So, there's all those songs, but something that people wouldn't think I would say, I guess that would be definitely.
Well, that's good to think out of the box and be different, because that's how you do. That's how brilliant stuff comes to play. I mean, we had a young lady on. She's become a good friend of the show. She's out of California, and she grew up in Rome, and her name is Georgia Vani. And this girl has an amazing voice, and she just recently did a cover of "Message in a Bottle" by The Police.
Okay.
Which is a difficult song because of the timing and everything, but this girl nailed it. And like I said, and I was impressed by her. And then when I first was listening to your music, I was like, wow, I gotta get this girl on the show and interview her, because it's just, everybody. Are you guys gonna be touring? Are you looking forward to going back out on the road? Do you have stuff scheduled for next year, hopefully?
Well, we can't announce anything. But there are several festivals that we plan on. We have to wait, and once the festivals are committed, like it's committed, it's going to happen, then we're going to plan in between. Like if we can go from this one to this one, then we'll do. So yes, we're going to be playing. If anyone asks us to play, it's going to be yep, when, yep, okay. Like the summer, we're hoping to book the summer up pretty good. So
well,
hopefully
hopefully all this nonsense will be all behind us.
I know.
All right, so I got a couple of your videos. I'm going to play the first one. I want everybody to see the tremendous talent that this young lady and this band. I mean, everything was flawless on it. The arrangement of it, that just and believe me, I wade through hundreds and hundreds of songs a week, and for some reason yours was one of those ones that stood out. I had to make sure, but I believe this is PHRENIC. So let's take a look at this. Wow, that was amazing. So
Thank you.
that was great. That was absolutely amazing. And what I like about it is starts out nice and not mellow, but nice, and then all of a sudden you kick it
Yeah.
into high gear. What is that song about? Give us the background on that song.
So that song is about, the song is about, I don't have schizophrenia, right? But I think that everybody has these illusions, right? And they think they see things and they think they hear things, and I think we all go a little bit shit crazy sometimes.
Especially
And
now.
so yeah. And like I've had times where, you get in your own, you get in your own head and you're losing your mind and you don't really know what's happening, and people try to medicate you. And I'm not against medication by any means for mental illness. But I was prescribed a medication, and I didn't want it, and I was told I had to take it, and it turned me into like a zombie. Like I couldn't, I was just like, and so, and this was a while ago, and I didn't know about being my own advocate. And I eventually ended up being able to figure out, music was actually a way for me to deal with my own demons. Because I had like several, everyone has their, their baggage. So I had I had a relationship that was really not good, and it put me in a bad headspace. And that's why I went on the medication, and I just was losing. I'm like a small person as it is, so I was losing weight. I wasn't eating, and it was like I felt like I was in a prison inside my head. And so that's why that song says, "Welcome to my holy prison. This evil recreates. It starts to come." So like in my head, I was like screaming, but like physically, I was like, yeah,
Right.
like
Wow.
like, and everyone thought like, oh, like you're really like laid back now, blah, blah. And it wasn't that way. And so Phrenic is just kind of like one of those things where you just in your mind you're going, oh my God, please somebody help me, and you want someone to see it, but like the facade on the outside is like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what the good thing about that video is, and I'll be honest with you, Lauren, your expressions during the thing, you got your hands out, and I mean, the passion and the energy is coming out of you, and not just for the theatrics of the video. You could see that this is like a real thing that you've experienced, and you want to convey that to the people watching the video with the, and this is a total compliment. But listening to you sing, and I know she's not a metal singer, but you remind me of Evanescence.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I get when I hear that song. I mean, a little heavier than she is,
I
but
get that though, because she sings with emotion. So like I see where you can, you know what I mean?
yeah, well, it's definitely not an insult, so please don't
Oh
take
God,
it.
she's friggin' amazing. To even be like, I'm like, okay, someday, yeah, she's amazing. She's so, but thank you. It's funny that you mentioned that though about the hand things. We actually had someone comment. It was like one of the only negative comments on the video. Obviously, there were people that didn't like it, but someone felt the need to comment how much they did not like my over dramatic hands and facial expressions, and I'm like,
I think that makes the whole video.
and I'm just like, well, fuck you, because you're not gonna like me then, because that's me as a person. I am expressive, and when I sing, I'm gonna do
Right.
that.
I mean, that comes out in the music. It's just, what's their
That
problem?
was natural. And so like the next video, the band was like, oh, be careful of your hands. And our guy that does our videos was like, no, don't tell her to do that, because then she's gonna not be herself. So they're like,
exactly.
like, don't worry about it. Let people are gonna talk about me no matter what I do. And like when we first started, it was like, oh my God, someone said something bad about me, blah blah. And now I'm just like, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, whatever, fuck you, then don't listen to it. Or like, I'm glad you took the time to comment you're disliking. Like you took the time out of your day to watch my whole video and then be like, wow, that was bad. And I'm like, well, I took up 3 or 4 minutes of your life, so I guess
Pay no attention. There's like at one person that 3,000 will like in one person, and that's
right.
your emotions coming out. I mean that,
right.
that song, even though it hits home, is it hard to perform? Or you
What do you
just,
mean, like,
I mean, because it resonates with you in your personal life. Is it?
No. All this, because I know this is gonna be weird. Like, so when I perform, or when I do interviews, or when I do anything, I'm like, hey, this is great, I have fun. As a person, though, in real life, like before you see me with a show, you'll just think I'm like people either think I'm a bitch or they think I'm weird or they think I'm the groupie. They don't really know I'm the singer usually. So like when I get on stage, it's like my alter ego. So like I come alive. Like this is like where I want to be. So right now I haven't had a song hit me where it's hard to perform yet.
Thank God, yeah.
There's been times like where something happened in my family and I had to go play that night, and like a certain song triggered a memory, so like I got a little choked up because the song was about that, like about whatever, you know what I mean, like it was about something that I was happening in my life at that point, and it just was like really like brought up feelings, and I kind of like, but it's, you can't cry when you sing because then your throat tenses up, and so you got to kind of just like shake it out and be like, okay, this is an act. I'm on stage. I'm performing, because I don't ever want my emotion or my bad day to ruin the show that someone, especially when someone's paying to see you. I think it's the face, like, and no disrespect to anybody who wants to do it. For me, I feel like it's an injustice to do that, or to like get drunk and like not perform to the best of my abilities. Like if I screw up and you come to see me live and I screw up just because I screwed up or I was losing my voice, like I tried, right? But if I screwed up because I drank too much, I'm an asshole, because
you want to bring your A game, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. I don't value that. So.
Well, you know what? It's funny, when I saw you doing the thing, I said she's got to be Italian. She's talking with her hands.
My mother's father is from Italy, and then my dad's like a quarter Italian.
There you go.
But yeah, Italian, Hungarian, and
that's an interesting mix.
Yeah, Italian, Hungarian, and then I think I'm like Austrian. Is that even a thing anymore? I don't know. And English and French. So.
Oh wow, you're like the UN.
I am. Well, my grandmother at my mom's side, my grandmother was adopted. And so like they had to trace back the lineage, and it was like English and French, and then Italian, and then my dad's my dad's actually German, Hungarian, Austrian.
Well, that's interesting. But all right, so let me get the next video up. The next one is Masochist, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a happy video. This is a happy. Well, I mean, it's masochism, but you know, it's happy.
It's happy.
I had a happy time doing it.
Here we go with Masochist. Oh wow, I love it. That's awesome. So tell me about this track. I mean, from the Phrenic that we just watched. I mean, the guitar players are monsters, and the drummer. Tell us about some of the other guys in the band.
Okay, so what would you like to know?
Uh, Whatever you want to tell me, but just give me some. How did the whole band come together?
So Steve and I were in a cover band together, and we started writing original music, and the guys in that band didn't really want to do originals. So we decided that we would start our own thing. And we had a couple people join just till we felt like we had friends. We were like, hey, can you join so we can just like play? And we had a few friends play like bass, drums. We actually had 2 guitars at one point. And then a couple, so 3 years, almost 3 years ago, we found Greg and talked to Greg, and we were like, hey, he's our bass player. And we were like, we really, really, we think you're awesome. And we knew he had no bands going on at the time. And I knew him from other things, like not formally, but I knew him from other projects. I was like, he would be an amazing bass player. Like he had a mohawk at the time and whatever, but we talked to him. We said, hey, what would you think? And we gave him the music, and he was like, oh my God, absolutely. So Greg joined, and then we had a CD release party, and the guy that we had drumming for us was a friend of ours, and he ended up being like, and he had a family, so it was like, oh, I don't have time. And we're like, no, we get it, because we were like, look, like when you join the band, it's like, look, we're gonna have to go on tour, we're gonna have to do this, like you have to be okay leaving home for a month, you have to be okay leaving, and so we were like, okay, we're gonna find a new drummer. So we started auditioning drummers, and Justin was actually our first audition, and he came in, and we were like, okay, like if you don't know what this whole song, it's fine. And he came in, and he knew every song, like,
Oh wow,
perfect. And we were like, so I guess we're gonna go with this guy, because he like added some fills, and he did some things, like, because we were like, oh, you can add a fill here, you can do this. And I'm a huge drummer, like, I don't know how to explain, a huge drummer, I don't want to say drummer whore, but I love drummers. Like, that's, like, when there's a good drummer, I'm like, yes! So, when he played, I'm like, we gotta do it, but we had to play it cool, so, okay, so maybe you want to do another audition? And he's like, oh, sure. He's like, when? I was like, well, we got a show coming up in 2 weeks. You wanna see how that goes?
yeah.
And so he played with us, and it was just, from then on. And then we brought him songs for the second album, and he had a huge hand in the one song that we wrote, Who Waits, that drum beat. He had a huge hand in that. So we really started come together. Our sound really came together for this album. This album was, the first album was good. We enjoyed it, right? But we were like, we can do better. Like that's us, trying to crank out songs. We got to have this many songs, blah, blah. This was more like, this is DRAMASCREAM. This is our sound. And now we're really starting to hone in on it. So, I mean, yeah. And then Steve had already been writing. Steve has a really good ear for writing songs, like melody. He hears things that like some of us don't hear. So right. He'll compose pretty much the skeleton of it, and then we fill it in.
Oh, wow.
That's how they work. I don't know how long everybody's been playing their instruments. I probably should know that, but it's been years.
No, I would imagine so. I mean, you got your guy. I mean, you definitely have your act together, so it doesn't look like you just came out of nowhere. But we are moving the studio. Everybody's doing stuff remotely here at home, but we're getting a brand new studio, and it's actually a recording studio that we're going to be doing the radio show out of. And I know that you guys are based out of New York, and we're going to do is twice a month we're going to feature local bands, and we're going to have them come in live. Now I know you are in upstate New York, but I'd love to have you guys come down and perform live. You have to see that. It's called Bulletproof Music Studios out in New Jersey here, and I mean, this place is like, it's so state of the art, and when you walk in, it looks like the hard rock and heavy metal museum with all the stuff on the walls. But the acoustically and equipment wise, they're top of the line. I'd love to have DRAMASCREAM come down and perform.
Oh yeah, definitely. We love doing that kind of stuff.
You know, I know it's a little bit of a hike, but I think we can make it work. But
He played, trust me. And then how far? Wait, so how far are you from the city?
I'm about a half hour from New York, Manhattan.
Okay. Well, I see. So if worst came to worst, we'd probably all just we'll get a hotel. But I have family. My dad's entire family is on the island, so I could be like, oh, we're gonna come see you guys.
Yeah,
Hello.
we could definitely make it work because I want to get more people to see you guys perform live. Just from watching the videos, I want to watch the whole show. So if for people that want to, you know, buy your music, is there a website, social media? Where can they go, Lauren?
So we're on iTunes. If you want to download it, I don't. If you want a physical CD, go to our Bandcamp. Just go to Bandcamp DramaScream. If you were to search, like, I'm pretty sure when you do DramaScream merch, it'll come up as like a site, and then it goes to our Bandcamp. That's where you can get all our shirts. You can do it from our Facebook page. If you go to our Facebook page, you'll see our shop at DramaScream. And DramaScream's one word. I don't know if that makes a difference for when people search it. I know that I search it as one word. And when you look at it, people think it's two, but it is one. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you can get all our merch there. We're on Spotify. Instagram, you can see pictures. We're starting to up our Instagram game.
Your Insta game. You were right.
Yeah, we haven't been really posting as much as we should, and I'm like, we kind of gotta get on that, guys.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start putting our videos up there and stuff. It just, with the way things are, it's kind of hard to figure out what the best way to do things is because people don't always see things.
No, I know. It's hard, especially now. This is the time to do it because everybody's watching now. Everybody's stuck home.
Well, we released one video we released Masochist. We had Space on Travel, which is a different YouTube channel. We had them release it, but we probably should have waited to release it because we released it like during the height of like the pandemic, and everybody's looking at this and then this and this, and I'm like, yeah, no one cares about music right now, like nobody. So I was like, so then we had to like promote it a little, so it ended up being fine, but it was just like, maybe that wasn't, because we just wanted to get the video out. We were like, yeah, we got the video done. And so we do have another video we'll be releasing soon. I hope we recorded.
Oh yeah, you got to keep me in the loop and let me know because I want to definitely support you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, Turn is our next song. It's just it's a live performance video, but I really like Turn. Turn is a really good song, and you can hear it's one of those.
Did you have a time frame when you think it'll be ready to go?
Within the next couple of weeks, it should be.
Okay,
It's been a while. We were supposed to release it a while ago, and then COVID happened, and like the guy that did it, there's a whole thing. There's always a whole thing. But I talked to him, and he's like, okay, and we like they sent it to us, and we do edits, and of course, who's the picky one? I'm like, oh, that was an ugly face. Why did you think that was an okay shot to do of me? Like,
I'm the same way. Don't apologize for that. Believe me.
It's so funny. It's hilarious. He's like, what did you think? I was like, so who do you think you are putting that picture of me there? I was like, no one wants to see me make that face. No, that is not flattering. Like, can we get rid of this? Like, that was the first thing I said. He's like, okay. I'm like, nope, I look like a weirdo. So it's being edited now, and I think we'll have the final cut here soon.
Oh, so good.
It'll be cool. Cool. It's a different video for us. We've never done just a lot. No, I don't want to say live. It's not a live performance, but it's a performance video. There's no storyline except me walking around.
Well, I'll open if you guys want. If you want to premiere it, we could set up a night where we could have a whole bunch. We'll debut the video on the day of the release because that's how much I really enjoyed your stuff. And I actually you did me a favor because that scream, I recorded it, and every time the kids get out of line, I'll just play that, and they'll stop in their tracks.
My dog, so my one went deaf, but my other dog, it's funny when I do anything screaming, he's like, or he'll go woo, and he like goes with me because he's used to me now. He used to be afraid of the scream. Now he tries to match my pitch, and it's like the funniest. People should see my dog.
Funny.
He's like, oh, I'm like,
Well, that's great, but I tell you,
we will let you know. We will let you know.
Definitely keep me in the loop. Any singles come out, and if anybody wants to check out their Facebook page. It's DRAMASCREAM, one word. This wonderfully talented girl here, Lauren Eliza, amazing vocals. Check out the YouTube video PHRENIC. Check out Masochist. It's on YouTube. We just showed it here, and you got to watch it to believe it. The vocals are amazing. The solos on the guitar. The drummer is a beast. Everything is you guys are firing on all cylinders, and that's what I love about it. And like I said, if any just to let you know, Stoner Dave is live right now on animalhouseradio.net if you want to check his show out. And DRAMASCREAM is already in. They've been in rotation for about 2 or 3 weeks now if you want to catch them on Animal House Radio. But Lauren, I know you were so crazy busy. I really appreciate you squeezing us in today.
Well, I'm sorry. It cut out.
I said I know you were so busy this week, but I appreciate you squeezing us in tonight.
Oh, God, yeah. No, I mean, you support us so much, and it's just we are so appreciated. I was like, no, I can do this. I can do this. It was like, I got home and I went to my chiropractor, went to get my hair done, and I was like, I got this voice lesson and done. Good. We're good.
That's
so I had a fun-filled day. It was nice.
Cool. Before we go, I want to know if you could do me a favor. I asked this of all our artists. Would you do a station ID for us?
Yes.
Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to introduce yourself and say you're listening to Animal House Radio. Now, you can do it in your Lauren Eliza flair. Any way you want, you can have at it. So when you're ready, you go.
Okay. I'll just probably say my first name, but okay.
Okay, yeah, whatever you want.
Okay. Hey, this is Lauren from DRAMASCREAM, and you are listening to Animal House Radio.
See that? Perfect. One shot.
Sometimes I'm good. Sometimes it takes 40. I did do a promo the other day for somebody for a benefit, and I'm like, this is fuck, this is not what I meant to say. You would have thought I had, it was bad.
You should have just screamed into it and go, there's your promo.
Yeah, but it was like these questions you have to answer, and it was for a cancer benefit. And I'm like, hi, we're DRAMASCREAM, and we really love cancer. And I'm like, whoa, no, I didn't mean to say that. We really love to support cancer. And like my words, and they were like, why didn't you write it out? I'm like, because I never write it out, guys. I just like to go off the cuff.
Yeah, well, do you think that's bad? As a comedian, I had to do a show one time for this woman who lost her son due to a really horrible disease. And she gets up. It was a beautiful night, a very elegant place we were at. And she gets up to make a speech to thank everybody for coming. And then she starts talking about her son and how he suffered. And everybody's bawling and crying. And then she goes, and now for the comedian. I'm like, what? You want me to? I had to dig myself out of a big hole. That was so crazy, though.
Oh my God! Talk about they're like, so don't say this, don't say this, don't say this. Like,
I'm like, what am I gonna do to cheer? These people were like going through boxes of tissues. What am I gonna do now?
That's so funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny.
Like, no, it is funny, but
obviously that's not funny, but the funny, yeah. It's
but
always weird when there's like that awkward moment, and you're like,
yeah. Let us know when the video comes out, and maybe in a month or so we can have the band come out. I'd love to have you come in this. You're gonna love this studio when you see it.
Oh, definitely. Just let us know, and we can clear a spot on a weekend.
I want to see you come out and go like this to the live audience.
I will. Don't worry.
All right, Lauren, Eliza, thank you so much.
Thank you for having. Oh, thank you. I'm like us, me, whoever, all the people in my head, whatever.
All right, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Please tune in live. We're going to have John Cena from Chicago PD. I don't know if you remember him from the movie Selena and Chicago PD. Oz. John's going to be on with us. And as special guest, Lieutenant General Jerry Martinez. And that all happens at 8 o'clock. So make sure you check out Animal House Radio. Lauren, God bless. Continued success. And keep on screaming.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.